Albuquerque is a town that is all about family. No matter where we are on the political spectrum, we share a love and a respect for our families. And so it's no wonder that we've had such an outpouring of support and concern and generosity from our community in response to the stories of painful family separations at the border. As is so often the case in local government, we are sort of on the front line of where the rubber hits the road in some of these policies. And it also gives us an opportunity in a time when many of us feel so helpless in the face of what's going on in our country to actually be helpful. So like many cities around the Southwest and around the country, we're preparing for the family reunification process that's going to come as a result of these family separation policies. And of course, we believe in helping all families, and we're just happy to be able to be of service in this specific circumstance. We want to emphasize that it's really important to provide privacy for these families. I know that this is a public interest story and a human interest story that a lot of people want to know. They want details, they want to see photos, but these families have been through a lot. And so we really want to respect their privacy, their space, and make sure that we're not taking an already overwhelming situation and making it more overwhelming as they arrive in our city. We saw families all over town bringing in supplies, and you can see them all around this room to help out the families that are going to be passing through as part of the reunification process. Our role at the city is really just to coordinate with the organizations that are the lead in this process, and that's why we have Lutheran Family Services here today. So I just want to thank all of the Albuquerque families who have shown such generosity of heart and spirit, and then turn it over to Lutheran Family Services to tell you a little bit more about what's going on.
Thank you. And Lutheran Family Services Rocky Mountains would like to start by thanking the City of Albuquerque for all the support we've received from city officials and the community, and it's ongoing. On Friday, July 20th, we were called upon by Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Services, our national refugee resettlement partner, who had been contacted by ICE to ask if we would consider standing up a emergency transitional services center here to help with the movement of formerly detained families and had been separated, who have been reunited at the detention center in Otero County, I believe, and would then be brought here. So that was late morning on Friday, and they said, the ICE needs you to be up and running by Saturday. And so we scrambled all night out of our Denver office and ended up open for business and ready to go at noon on Saturday, the 21st. So we've been ready since Saturday, and teams here, the donations, the support of this community, and a much larger community. Rocky Mountains, in our case, includes Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, and El Paso. That's our catchment area, but we have offices in Colorado and here in Albuquerque, and in the other states we serve as needed across the border. So we've been ready, and unfortunately we have not received a single family up to this point. The delays have just continued, but I'm happy to say that just today about noon we were notified that 12 individuals, which could be 6 families, it could be 4 families, but 12 individuals, children and parents, who've been reunited, are scheduled to arrive today. We have not received notice of if they've even gotten on the bus yet. And so that's a long ride. So it'll probably be late evening. Or there could be another delay. But that's the information we have at this time. And so we are excited about that. And I'd like to just take a minute to review our partners here, because just amazing things have been happening. Starting with Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Services, they not only called us into action, but they came here and they've been working by our side ever since. for an organization called Forward US. Is there anybody from Forward here? This is an amazing nonprofit organization that came and sent 7 staff members, and they are arranging all of the travel and all of the hotel rooms that people may stay in when they're here. This is very short-term service, quick turnaround, maybe 24 hours, maybe 32 hours, but this isn't a long period of time. But these people are doing amazing work, and they're paying for all of those plane tickets and whatnot. We are not receiving any support, financial support from any government agency for this other than the government of the city of Albuquerque. And that's not in cash, but in wonderful sharing of other resources. We've had an outpouring of support from Spanish-speaking clergy from many different denominations who will be on site as these people arrive and minister to them as well. And that's been very exciting. The UNM Health Services Center is here and they're going to be speaking to you shortly, and they are going to be providing pro bono health and mental health screening at our site, which I'm calling the Hospitality Center. And they will be both screening and or treating as needed folks who've been apart for a long time, and children and families, and so a lot of trauma for all of them. Mayor Tim Keller has been outstanding. He stepped right up the first day that we were here, and has opened up all manner of resources to assist in this process. And then the really amazing outpouring of support. So we launched a communication on Saturday night about 7 o'clock from Denver to all of our donors and all of our through social media and whatnot. And as of this morning, we have received over 700 individual online gifts, and totaling over over $90,000, and then another $60,000 of checks and in-kind gifts like phone cards, gift cards to Walmart, and Visa cards that we will be sharing with these families. They'll be taking that with them as well. And it's still pouring in. It's unprecedented in all the ministry and work that we've done over the years. Never seen any kind of outpouring like this. So again, they're just with us for a little while. We're responsible for supplying basic needs of housing, food, clothing, legal and health referrals, and transportation to their final destination as they move about the country to join family who are already here and or friends who will put them up and then they have to report to ICE in those locations and continue their immigration process. So with that, I'd like to stop and introduce Michelle Melendez, who is the Director of Office of Equity and Inclusion for the city.
Thank you, Jim. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Michelle Melendez, and I have the honor of serving as the Director of the City of Albuquerque's Office of Equity and Inclusion. And we also have within this office the Office of Immigrant and Refugee Affairs, and our coordinator, Mariela Ruiz Angel, has her office here. So that's why we chose this spot. We've been working with community partners since the weekend began to assist in any way possible to collect donations from the generous people of New Mexico and Albuquerque especially. And we've just been amazed by the generosity of our community. We want to extend our deepest gratitude to all of the people who've come and given of their food, donations, water, clothing, backpacks, toys, teaching their children how to be compassionate. And there's just been a tremendous outpouring of support. And we want to urge people as well to hold off on any more donations. The fire station is filling up, and we're bringing the items over here, and any of the overflow that these people who are transferring through Albuquerque, things that are excess that they can't take with them, will be going to the residents of Albuquerque who need them. So we want to thank people for their generosity. And at this point, the best donation would be directly to Lutheran Family Services, and we have a representative at the fire station who's there to collect any kind of gift cards on their behalf. And now I'd like to hand it back to Jim.
All right. Indeed, Michelle delivered over $5,000 this morning in cash and gift cards, so it's truly wonderful. So now I'd like to introduce the UNM Health Sciences Chair, Mauricio Toan, Dr. Mauricio Toan, available to answer questions about trauma for children and families as a result of separation.
Thank you. I'm Mauricio Toan, and I'm chair of the Department of Psychiatry at UNM and service chief at UNMH Behavioral Care. Well, we started working during the weekend. We did get a message from our chancellor, myself and other clinical leaders, that there was this request from Lutheran Family Services about the families that were going to be reunited here. And the request was if we could find volunteers who would be willing to pro bono provide services. And our mission is to serve our community, including those who are transitioning through our community, like this population who we're going to be screening. So our goal is to, as mentioned, is to screen medical and behavioral care needs of this population and intervene as appropriate. We, of course, are very committed to do our very best work. And again, this population is in transition, but if they need emergency care, behavioral care, or medical, we're here to provide it.